Straight ahead on CCX News, a new report on rent, what units are going for locally, and what that says about our housing market. Plus, travel perspective from a Maple Grove man in a wheelchair. We'll have tips on flying with special medical needs in Health Check. But first, a new look for Brooklyn Center.
But we're pretty excited about what's coming on.
CCX News starts right now.
Hello and thanks for joining us. Brooklyn Center marks a new era with the unveiling of a new city logo and a tagline.
Eric Nelson joins us now to tell us why this is so important to the city. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, Brooklyn Center now has a colorful new logo and a tagline that simply says, "At the Center." The city wants to promote affordability, proximity to major highways, diversity, parks, and trails. City officials believe this rebranding effort tells their story better than the old logo.
The old logo didn't have any of them, or diversity in it as well. So we're attempting to say not only to the world, but to our residents as well, that these are the great things in our community, that are building community, that people enjoy.
The rebranding effort was the culmination of months of research and effort for Brooklyn Center. The city got public input through community engagement, surveys, strategy sessions, and conversation, which led to the design. Brooklyn Center officials believe the city's proximity to major highways is a key to future growth. Eventually, the stoplights will be removed from State Highway 252, and this could foster more development.
We're pretty excited about what's coming on. And again, those things, when we focus on our proximity, that allows us to look at like the Highway 252 and look at other corridors and look at how is our infrastructure best prepared us to be that accent, to be at the center. So that again, that one can access whether or not to be business or people that are visiting, etc.
Residents will notice this rebranding effort in the coming months. The new logo will be on the Brooklyn Center water tower and other city-related operations. Alex and Mike?
All right, thank you. A car wash that has been part of Brooklyn Center since the 1960s will soon be demolished. Brookdale Car Wash, located on Brooklyn Boulevard, will eventually be torn down. In its place, the city has approved plans to build a 4,400 square foot building for 2 retail tenants. One of the businesses will be a drive-through coffee shop. The other has not been announced yet. The new tenants will be adjacent to an Arby's, Starbucks, the 50s Grill, and other restaurants.
If you are in the market for an apartment, it might be challenging to find something affordable. A new survey by Marquette Advisors shows most cities struggle with low vacancies. In the Northwest Metro, the average one-bedroom is $955 with a vacancy rate of 3%. A two-bedroom goes for $1,200 on average with a vacancy rate of just 2%. A person would have to earn about $45,000 a year to consider that affordable.
We have very low vacancy rates, so the market's about under 2% right now for vacancy rates, and so with that demand, owners are really able to charge what they'd like. And I think what we're seeing too is some of this older housing stock that was built in the 50s and 60s and 70s, which had affordable rents for the longest time, is now getting converted into luxury apartments. And so as those conversions and renovations are happening, rent is going up 25 to 30%.
The city of Brooklyn Park tracks vacancy rates. Last year, the city had a vacancy rate of 3%, but some property managers in the city are now reporting vacancies less than that.
In Brooklyn Park, a new townhome project has received final approval. City Council okayed 40 attached row-style townhomes for a site northeast of 93rd and Regent Avenues. They start out at $250,000. It's part of a project that also includes nearly 60 detached single-family homes built by a different developer. Councilmember Mark Maida voted against the townhome, saying the density is too high for the site. Anoka-Hennepin is one of 3 local school districts that will ask voters for money to keep up with growth.
And Monday night, the school board approved putting 2 questions on the ballot totaling $258 million. They want to build 2 new elementary schools in Anoka County. In Hennepin County, the focus is on removing portable buildings at Champlain Park High School and Jackson Middle School. That means building classrooms at the high school and at a nearby elementary school.
And the priority was building class space for growth, removing the portable classrooms for security, updating media centers, updating our schools, and all of those things are addressed with this package.
School officials say it would cost the average homeowner $132 a year. Meantime, Wayzata and Brooklyn Center school officials also approved funding questions for the November ballot. In Brooklyn Center, the district is asking voters to approve an operating levy to improve instruction and expand teacher training. Brooklyn Center school officials also want to add classroom space for a growing pre-kindergarten program and create separate areas for middle school and high school students who share a building. Wayzata is proposing increasing the operating levy to maintain class sizes. They also want to add classroom space, including a new elementary school, and renew the technology levy.
The man who founded Maple Grove construction firm C.S. McCrossan has died. Charley McCrossan recently passed away. He was 91 years old. McCrossan started his company in 1956 when it was an asphalt paving business. Decades later, it became a company that led to such highway projects as the fix of the so-called Devil's Triangle in Brooklyn Park and the extension of Highway 610 in Maple Grove. The company still owns land in Maple Grove's gravel mining area.
The interesting thing about Charley is years ago, I made a comment to him. I said, you know, you've had probably lots and lots of offers to sell your land, and why haven't you? I know that the mining obviously is a nice income, but you have areas where it's been mined out, so it's ready for development. So why haven't you sold that? And he said, well, the reason I haven't sold it is because if there's a development that goes in there and it's maybe not that nice of a development, people will remember it as the McCrossan land.
Charley McCrossan is survived by his wife of 65 years and 9 children. Still ahead, making life easier for travelers with special medical needs. That's next in Health Check.
Plus, a talented Osseo Maple Grove Fastpitch Softball team aims for a doubleheader sweep.
But first, more hot and humid weather on Wednesday. Millions of people hop onto airplanes every day, but if you have medical conditions, traveling can be intimidating.
The same goes for people who use wheelchairs. In this week's Health Check, Delane Cleveland has tips on how to make traveling with special medical needs more accessible.
Summer is the time when millions of people make their way to the airport for much-needed vacations.
The first year I competed was down in Dallas.
Jim Deline of Maple Grove will soon be doing his summer traveling, but his trip isn't for rest and relaxation.
This year it's in Cincinnati, and we expect about 550 veterans again to be competing this.
Rather, it's to compete in the National Veterans Wheelchair Games.
It's fun to compete. Whether you win or not, it doesn't matter. It's just out there having a good time.
He's been in a wheelchair since 2009 due to a neuromuscular disease, and back then, the thought of flying out of Minnesota seemed daunting.
Initially, I was a little intimidated by that. You know, you kind of learn what you need to do.
Well, we're a very diverse company.
Teaching people with medical conditions how to travel safely is where Jesse Newman comes in. He's the president of Corner Home Medical, a medical equipment supplier that serves 10,000 customers across Minnesota.
People are new to a specific medical device that they're using for the first time while traveling. There can be a lot of anxiety there. That's why we try to walk them through the process.
People with breathing problems need devices that aren't easy to take on a plane.
This is a travel CPAP.
But there are travel CPAP machines with solar panels that people can use, as well as portable oxygen containers.
These devices run on lithium-ion batteries and can last upwards of 8 hours on a single battery.
For wheelchair users, they have the option of buying travel wheelchairs that are lighter and easier to transport.
And they fold up a couple different ways, so they can get very small, so it's less likely to be damaged, and they fit, you know, easily in the back of a trunk of a car.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to Jim. His wheelchair doesn't collapse, but he does one important thing before he travels.
If you're traveling, if you're flying especially, you know, all the airlines have a handicapped accessible line that you should call and, you know, tell them that you want accessible seating.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
If you have special needs, your doctor can often provide you with the proper documentation to help the travel process go smoothly. Still ahead, experiencing life on the farm in Brooklyn Park.
But first, Wayzata battles in the playoff rounds of the tough Gopher Classic American Legion tournament. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is in Miami Tuesday night, and for the second time in 4 seasons, a Brooklyn Park native is on the National League roster. Pat Neshek will represent the Philadelphia Phillies in tonight's All-Star Game. Neshek is in his first year with the Phillies and has a 2-2 record with 9 holds and an earned run average of just 1.27. Neshek has struck out 36 batters in 35 and a third innings pitched this season. He's a 1999 Park Center grad, and he also pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals at the All-Star Game in Minneapolis in 2014. He's excited to be going back and pleased with how well he's pitched.
You know, it started with the World Baseball Classic this year. You know, you don't think you're one of the best players, or I don't look at myself that way. But if you get the opportunity, you never know. You know, if you're on that stage. So I kind of took that into the season, saying, hey, I got some big guys out in that, and I've done it before. I'm going to go at this hard again. And like I said, you never know what's going to happen.
And congratulations to him. The Wayzata American Legion baseball team has made a long run in the 96-team Gopher Classic tournament. Post 118 won their bracket in pool play, and after a win Monday morning, they faced the Green Bay Shockers in the tournament quarterfinals. Will Oberg on the mound for Wayzata, and he gets some good defense behind him. The liner to second base, the throw to first completes the double play and ends the inning. Bottom of the first, Wayzata gets on the board. Oberg up, and he grounds to first base. Green Bay takes the out there, but Cam Keenan scores from third, and Wayzata is on the board. They add to their lead in the third inning. Keenan with a hard ground ball to third base. The throw to first, off the mark and down the line. That allows Danny Dice to come all the way around to score Wayzata's second run, and they'd add one more to lead 3-0 after 3. Wayzata's strong defense continues in the fifth inning. A long drive to the gap in right center field, but Dice runs it down. Great catch, keeping Green Bay off the board. Oberg does not allow a run as Wayzata wins 3-0. It's their third shutout in the tournament. And that win put Wayzata into the semifinals Tuesday morning. And another game at Minnetonka's Veterans Field, this time against Creighton Prep out of Omaha. Wayzata's Peyton Gallagher throws a gem. He gets a strikeout of Owen Richter in the second inning on his way to retiring the first 16 batters of the game. Bottom of the second, Wayzata's Charles Ingdahl singles up the middle. Chad Musser hustles around, and he slides in head first, gets Wayzata on the scoreboard. Creighton pitcher Tommy Steyer was solid on the hill, too. He gets Bobby Isbell looking in the third inning. This game remains 1-0. To the fifth inning, 2 runners on for Wayzata. Creighton Prep, though, turns a nice 6-4-3 double play, ends the inning, keeps this game close. Wayzata's defense comes through in the top of the sixth inning. Shortstop Keegan Nickel steps on second base, throws to Jack Rothstein at first, completing the double play. Creighton Prep manages just 1 hit all day against Gallagher, who goes the distance to get Wayzata into the tournament final with a 1-0 win. And Wayzata just beat West Fargo 3-2 to win the Gopher Classic Championship. But more on that game Wednesday starting at 4 on CCX News. Maple Grove was one of 3 local teams to play in the state high school softball tournament in June. Some of the players from that team and some up-and-coming Crimson athletes are playing together in a U16 team. Maple Grove High School softball coach Jim Coltis, the umpire for this doubleheader against Crow River. Bottom of the second, Bree Callen with a base hit that brings Michaela Marsh home for a 1-0 Maple Grove lead and the start of a big inning. Kate Kapsner's hit up the middle plates Michaela side and Bree Jones for a 3-0 lead. Lauren Anderson up, and she'll muscle the high pitch the other way to score Amanda Tyler and Ellie Hosman. Anderson gets a double. The Storm gets 14 runs in the frame, and they go on to win 14-0. In game 2, top of the second, Callan rolls a hit through the infield. Sides hustles around and scores with a really nice slide for a 4-0 Storm lead. Anderson with another good piece of hitting She slices a hit to right, scoring Tara Rosacker and Tyler for an 8-0 Maple Grove lead. Crow River rallies in the bottom of the second inning. Ashley Brinkman's base hit scores 2, and this hit will cut the deficit to 8-4. But the Storm shuts it down after that. Anderson will get a strikeout to end game 2. Maple Grove wins at 9-4 for the sweep. And that is all for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. An adaptive water ski program is getting a trial run in Plymouth this month.
The Sports and Recreation Department at Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute is bringing its popular adaptive water ski clinics to West Metro athletes.
So we're here to test out the waters of Medicine Lake tonight and see how it goes.
Nice to meet you, Preston.
On the shores of West Medicine Lake, a group of young athletes steps into something new.
Now push. Just like you're putting on a really tight shoe. There you go.
For more than 20 years, Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute has offered this summer adaptive water ski program in Shoreview for athletes with physical and cognitive disabilities.
So for whatever reason, they aren't able to do just regular stand-up skiing, and so we have specialized equipment that allows them to sit down and ski, or the use of side skiers for standing up.
With the guidance of volunteers, athletes learn to water ski. It's a popular program that fills up each summer with 40 participants and a waiting list of others eager to try. Testing out this new site in Plymouth meant that Luke Van Geest, a 2011 Osseo High School graduate, got his first taste of water skiing.
Trying to do something that I'd never done before, and then doing it. So it was hard to start with, but it got better, you know.
That sense of accomplishment and exposure to the sport is what this time on the lake is all about.
And it's a great opportunity for folks to get on the water. I mean, it's Minnesota. We all love to be on the lakes in the summer.
Up next, stories as told on the farm.
We'll be right back.
And finally, stories from the porch at Item Farm.
One hot day, a lion strolled in town to buy a hat. Now, who is
Every Tuesday in the summer, several short stories are read, followed by some playtime with the animals around the barnyard. And on the fourth Tuesday of the month, there is a very special story time.
The last Tuesday of every month, we have PM story time, where we encourage the parents to bring their children in their pajamas, because if I'm the one reading, I'm in my pajamas too, 1900 style. And I don't want to be the only one in my pajamas.
The story time is free, and dates and times for all of the activities at Item Homestead can be found on the Brooklyn Park website. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again tomorrow, starting at 4 o'clock.